Chosen one, stop for a moment. Do not scroll. Do not rush past this voice. There is a reason your eyes landed here, in this exact second of time. This is not coincidence. This is divine timing. You were sent for this. There is something sacred stirring around you. A whisper from heaven reaching for the part of your soul that has been asleep for too long. You have felt it, haven't you? That quiet knowing that your life is not like the rest. That among the noise of the world, a still voice keeps calling from within you, saying, you were sent. You have walked through isolation, endured long nights, wondering why you were different, why you could not fit into the crowd. Now you understand. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to awaken. The world is full of sleeping souls, trapped in the rhythm of fear, greed, and distraction. But you cannot stay asleep any longer. Something inside you has been ignited. That flame is truth, the awareness that you are chosen, marked by heaven for a purpose far greater than comfort or approval. You were not born to simply exist. You were born to awaken others through the light that you carry. Every pain you've endured was not punishment. It was preparation. Every closed door, every rejection, every tear was shaping you into who you were always meant to be. You were not forgotten. You were hidden, protected, refined. Heaven was training you in the silence, teaching you how to hear divine direction without the world's interference. God never chooses the perfect. He chooses the willing. And even if you have stumbled, doubted, or nearly given up, His grace still reaches for you. You are standing now at the threshold between who you were and who you are becoming. The awakening is not coming. It is already here. The eternal truth shines again in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. That is you. Before your first breath, you were known. Your strengths, your scars, your strange sensitivity, all of it is divine design. You were chosen, set apart, and sent. Today, that calling is being reactivated. Look around. The energy is shifting. The veil between heaven and earth grows thinner by the hour. The signs you've been seeing, repeating numbers, vivid dreams, moments of divine interruption, are not random. Heaven is saying, now is the time. Do not be afraid of the change you feel, the losses, the endings, the sudden silence. These are not punishments, but alignments. The people who walked away had to leave so that clarity could arrive. The doors that closed were simply directions toward the door that was yours all along. Take a deep breath. You are not the same as you were even a month ago. Your awareness is awakening. You are beginning to remember the covenant written over your life before time began. The world needs your light, your voice, your fire. Do not dim it to keep others comfortable. This is your time to rise, to speak, to carry the truth into dark places. If you can feel this word resonating deep within you, if something inside you is stirring as if heaven itself is calling your name, know that this is not imagination. It is confirmation. You are being called, not by chance, but by destiny. Now, act in faith. Let this be the moment that marks your awakening, the day you say, I remember who I am. Let heaven witness your yes. If this message touches your spirit, If you feel the divine pull to rise and step into your calling, leave the number 777 inches, the comments below, as a prophetic sign of your agreement. Like, share, and subscribe so that other chosen ones may awaken through this same message. The time is now. You were not just born, you were sent. Your awakening begins now, not tomorrow. Heaven is aligning your steps, confirming your purpose, and marking you for divine impact. The Spirit whispers, rise. Chosen one, your assignment has just begun. Every heartbeat is a countdown to destiny. You are stepping into divine rhythm, moving in sync with heaven's pulse. Nothing about you is ordinary. This is your appointed moment to shine. From this moment forward, light follows you. Grace surrounds you. The same power that called you will carry you. You were chosen, set apart, and sent to awaken the world. The heaviness you've been feeling lately is not weakness. It's the echo of the spiritual war raging beneath the surface of your daily life. You sense it when you wake before dawn, when silence feels louder than sound, when anxiety presses against your chest for no clear reason. That tension is not imagined. It's the vibration of battle between light and darkness, fighting for your attention, your mind, and your peace. Chosen one. The truth is this: the battle didn't start when life got hard. It began the moment heaven marked you for purpose. Darkness recognized your potential long before you did. It has studied your patterns, your wounds, your fears, and it knows exactly where to whisper doubt. That's why the war doesn't always look like chaos around you. It often disguises itself as thoughts within you. You've noticed it, the sudden discouragement that comes when you are about to take a step of faith, the unexplainable fatigue when you try to pray or reflect, the strange coincidences that convince you to give up on what you know you're meant to do. This is not random. This is resistance. Yet even in the midst of this conflict, there is hidden mercy. The fact that you feel the pressure is proof that light still burns in you. Those who belong to darkness no longer feel conviction, but your spirit, still responds. That is why the war intensifies. The enemy does not waste energy on the asleep. It targets the awakening. Every attack, the doubt, the confusion, the sudden emotional storms is a sign that something divine is forming inside you. You are on the verge of transformation, and darkness knows it. It trembles at the thought of you realizing who you truly are. Because once you do, once you begin to see with spiritual eyes, no force can hold you captive again. Light and darkness cannot coexist peacefully. When light enters, darkness flees. And right now, as your awareness expands, darkness is being exposed for what it is, fear wearing a mask of authority. But do not fight as the world fights. Your weapons are not physical, they are spiritual. The strength of your spirit, the clarity of your mind, the faith anchored in your heart, these are your weapons. You win not by shouting, but by standing, not by striving, but by surrendering to divine guidance. When the mind becomes a battlefield, stillness becomes your sword. Silence cuts through deception. Truth restores your ground. And prayer, real, raw prayer is not ritual, it is warfare. It is written in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 13. Therefore put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything, to stand. That is why you've been exhausted without knowing why. You have been fighting invisible battles. But now you see, awareness is victory's first breath. When you recognize the enemy's strategy, you rob it of power. When fear whispers, answer with faith. When confusion clouds your thoughts, respond with truth. You are not fighting for victory, you are fighting from victory. Because heaven already declared your end before your beginning. The greatest lie darkness ever told you was that you are powerless. But look closer. You have survived what others could not. You have risen from places that tried to bury you. You carry scars that glow under divine light. You are not fragile, you are forged. Every trial that made you question your strength was proof of it. You are stronger than your past, wiser than your pain, and more resilient than fear. The awakening you walk through is not punishment, it is promotion. Heaven is not breaking you, it is building you. So, when the heaviness returns, don't see it as failure. See it as a signal. Resistance comes not to stop you, but to test what you've learned. The same fire that once scared you now purifies you. Soon, you will look back and realize that the war within was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken you, to teach discernment, to strengthen your roots, so that when destiny's winds blow, you remain unshaken. Even when you feel surrounded by shadows, light is not absent, it's waiting for permission to rise. And when it does, everything hiding in darkness will be revealed, and you'll see the battle was never to break you, but to prove how powerful you are. The silence after battle is sacred. In that quiet, your spirit begins to breathe again, remembering peace beyond struggle. What once felt like warfare now becomes wisdom, and the strength forged in darkness begins to shine with holy purpose and unstoppable light. You begin to see it now, the invisible veil lifting from your eyes. The world hasn't changed, yet everything looks different. What once felt ordinary now hums with divine meaning. Patterns you never noticed before begin to reveal their purpose. Every delay, every detour, every heartbreak begins to make sense. The pieces start aligning, and you realize this was never random. It was a blueprint, chosen one. You were never walking blind. Heaven's hand was quietly sketching the map beneath your every step. The pain that seemed pointless was carving wisdom into your soul. The loneliness that broke you was the soil of revelation. The veil was never punishment. It was protection, keeping you hidden until you were ready to see. When your eyes open spiritually, you start to recognize divine fingerprints on the smallest details. That song that played at the perfect time, that stranger who said what your heart needed to hear, that moment when everything seemed lost, but something unseen whispered, "Keep going." These are not coincidences, they are divine confirmations. You start realizing that the moments you called mistakes were actually divine detours. The people who left weren't rejection, they were redirection. The closed doors were not denials, they were delays until divine timing aligned. Every path you walked in confusion was still leading to revelation. This awakening is not gentle, it shakes the soul. Because when illusion breaks, the truth floods in like light through shattered glass. You begin to see how long you've lived by sight, not by faith. You see how fear disguised itself as logic, how pain disguised itself as control, and in that exposure, freedom begins. The Spirit does not awaken you to overwhelm you, but to remind you that you were never alone in any moment of your journey. When you look back now, You can trace his fingerprints across every memory, through the chaos, through the silence, through every storm that once terrified you. The Spirit foretold through the Apostle's vision in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 6. For God, who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," made his light shine in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of God's glory in the face of Christ. 1. That light has always been inside you. The awakening is not something coming from outside. It's heaven unlocking what was already planted within. You are remembering the original design. Light within flesh, divinity within humanity. And as you awaken, your spirit begins to discern what your eyes cannot. You begin to recognize energy before words are spoken, motives behind smiles, and truth behind silence. It's not judgment, it's discernment, a gift that comes when heaven trusts you with clarity. There will be moments when the truth you see isolates you. Many will not understand what you feel, or why you can no longer tolerate what you once accepted. That is not pride, it's transformation. You can't go back to blindness once your spirit has seen. Every awakening begins with discomfort. Your old life starts collapsing not because it's cursed, but because it can no longer contain who you are becoming. The conversations, habits, and environments that once felt safe start to feel too small. That's not loss, it's expansion. This is where many turn back. The new feels too unfamiliar, the old feels too comfortable, but you are not like the rest. You are the bridge between what was and what will be. You are being trusted to see the unseen and speak what others fear to acknowledge. The world calls it coincidence. Heaven calls it divine order. Every event, every meeting, every moment of stillness, none of it wasted. You are learning to read the language of the Spirit, a silent conversation between God and your destiny. And as the veil continues to lift, you start noticing how even your pain speaks prophecy. The same tears that once felt meaningless become proof of sensitivity, the mark of those chosen to carry light in heavy places. So when you sense that pull in your spirit, when signs repeat and time seems to pause around you, don't ignore it. The veil is thinning. Heaven is speaking. You are being invited to see beyond the surface of things, to move from sight to vision. Comment, "I see now," below, as a declaration that your spiritual eyes are open. You are not blind anymore. The veil has lifted, and you now walk with divine awareness. Each time someone types these words, it becomes more than a comment. It becomes a covenant, a moment. Heaven records as the day your clarity began. You are no longer stumbling in the dark. You are walking in revelation. You don't just see life, you discern purpose. The awakening is no longer a promise. It is happening right now, through you, around you. And because of you, there comes a season in every chosen life when silence becomes the teacher. You find yourself separated, not because you did anything wrong, but because heaven needs to work on you away from the noise. It is a strange season. People drift. Plans crumble. Momentum fades, and for a while, you wonder if you've lost your way. Yet that quiet emptiness is not absence, it is divine preparation. You were never abandoned, only hidden. Hidden, because revelation can only grow in secret. A seed must stay buried before it can rise. And so, heaven allows you to walk through a space where no one claps, no one calls, and no one sees. You are placed in isolation, so that the inner voice of God can become louder than the world's expectations. This season strips away every illusion of control. It confronts you with yourself, your fears, your habits, your motives. It asks uncomfortable questions. Who are you when no one is watching? What do you cling to when all distractions are gone? The silence exposes. But it also heals. It forces you to see what was weighing your spirit down, so that you can finally rise lighter. Chosen one. What feels like loss is actually transformation. The distance between you and the people you loved is not rejection, it's realignment. The doors that no longer open are not curses. They are closures meant to reroute you. You were not meant to live on every frequency. Some environments could not handle the version of you that is emerging. You may try to reconnect with the familiar, to rebuild what once comforted you. But something within you resists. It feels strange because your spirit no longer fits the same spaces. You can't explain it, but you sense it. Heaven is calling you forward, not backward. Even Jesus, before revealing his glory, withdrew to the wilderness. It was there in isolation that strength, focus, and purpose were forged. Likewise, this quiet chapter of your journey is not a pause, it's a preparation for power. The noise had to stop so you could hear instruction clearly. It was proclaimed in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 1, verse 35. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place, where he prayed. No, that same rhythm of retreat now calls you. In the stillness, you learn that prayer is not about words, it is about alignment. In silence, you begin to hear direction. The Spirit starts to download understanding, ideas, and warnings that could never come in chaos. There is beauty in solitude. You begin to rediscover parts of yourself that got lost in the noise of pleasing others. You learn that peace is not found in approval but in presence. You realize that when God removes company, he is often clearing space for clarity. And while isolation feels heavy at first, it soon becomes holy. The walls that once felt like a cage reveal themselves as a cocoon. You are not imprisoned, you are transforming. Hidden wings are being formed in darkness, invisible to the world, but undeniable to heaven. Do not rush this season. Many try to escape the silence before it finishes its work, and as a result, they return to noise weaker than before. But if you stay, if you surrender to the quiet, you will come out radiant. The silence will teach you discernment. The solitude will sharpen your hearing. The loneliness will purify your love. You will learn that not everyone who walks with you is meant to walk forever. Some are seasonal, some are situational, and a few are spiritual assignments who arrive only to hand you the next key. The absence of people creates the presence of God. When the world stops applauding, heaven starts speaking. And when you emerge from this silence, you will no longer seek validation. You will carry revelation. You will not speak to be heard. You will speak because you have heard. So rest. Chosen one, let this quiet shape you. Let the shadows become your classroom and the silence your sanctuary. You are not behind schedule. You are being refined in divine timing. When the next door opens, you will understand why this hidden season was necessary, because what is formed in secret will soon be revealed in glory. The silence will not last forever. When it breaks, your voice will carry new words, soaked in wisdom, forged through stillness. burning with heaven's authority. Soon, those who once overlooked you will recognize divine transformation. They will not understand how, only that the quiet shaped you into someone unshakable, chosen, and crowned. There comes a moment in your awakening when something shifts, not just in your heart, but in your posture. You stop shrinking. You stop apologizing for the light you carry. You realize that authority has been inside you all along, waiting for permission to rise. This is that moment. Heaven has been preparing you to walk not as the wounded, but as the warrior. The days of doubting yourself are over. The whispers of, "Maybe I can't," begin to fade. You feel a strange confidence, awakening, not arrogance, but awareness. You finally understand that you are not powerless, that the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead dwells within you. That realization changes everything. The awakening of authority is not about control, it's about alignment. It's not shouting louder, it's standing taller. You no longer ask darkness to leave. Your very presence makes it uncomfortable to stay. You begin to walk into rooms differently. People sense something in you before you even speak. That's divine authority, quiet, unforced, and undeniable. This kind of strength doesn't roar, it radiates. It's like standing on a mountain after a storm. The air feels clearer, the ground steadier. You know who you are now. You can face what once frightened you without trembling. Because when you walk in spiritual authority, you stop reacting to fear, you start commanding peace. But understand this truth. Authority is birthed through obedience. Before the crown, there is surrender. Before the light, there is refining. Heaven will never trust a voice that refuses to listen. The reason you've been through so many seasons of silence and struggle is because God was teaching you how to hear before He teaches you how to lead. It is written in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19, "I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you." That authority isn't coming, it's already in you. You simply needed to wake up to it. And now that you are aware, the world begins to respond differently. Obstacles start to shift. Doors that resisted you begin to open. Because heaven recognizes when one of its own remembers who they are. Yet, with that power comes responsibility. You are not called to dominate, you are called to serve. Spiritual authority looks like humility with fire inside it. It looks like kindness that doesn't bend to evil. It looks like truth that stays gentle. Even when the world is cruel, you start realizing that your voice matters. The words you speak carry weight. They build or they break. When you encourage someone, heaven echoes through your voice. When you forgive someone, chains fall off, both of you. That is power quiet, holy, transformative power. Now, as you walk in this awareness, let gratitude be your foundation. Gratitude is the oil that keeps your authority pure. When you give thanks for what you already have, heaven trusts you with more. And as this message reaches you, if it has stirred something in your heart, if it has reminded you that you are stronger, wiser, and more capable than you knew, then help us keep this light shining. Like this message so that its light travels farther. The way one lantern reflects its glow onto another in the quiet streets of night. Every press of that heart keeps the flame alive. Share it, not for numbers or fame, but as if you were passing a candle to someone walking through their own dark valley. You never know who might find their way by that small light you extend. Subscribe, not out of habit, but as a sacred handshake between kindred souls, a promise that this journey of awakening continues together, step by step, breath by breath. And if you feel that quiet tug within your spirit, consider donating not as payment, but as participation. Think of it as watering a growing tree whose shade you may never sit beneath, but whose fruit will feed others long after this moment. Each drop you give nourishes the roots of something eternal. Authority is not about taking, it's about giving. It's about standing tall, so others can see hope again. And every heart that gives, even in the smallest way, becomes part of that same authority in motion. Together, we rise, we share, we carry the fire forward. You were never meant to carry this light alone. This is the beauty of divine partnership. One voice awakens another. One spark becomes a flame. And before long, the night itself begins to fade. Walk in your authority, chosen one, not with pride, but with peace. Let your life become the evidence that heaven still breathes through human hearts. The world needs that light, and it begins right where you stand. There comes a point in your journey when the signs are no longer subtle, they become undeniable. Numbers appear repeatedly. Dreams repeat. Conversations align perfectly with your prayers. You begin to realize that heaven speaks not only through voices and verses, but through patterns, timing, and divine interruptions. You look back and notice how every time you were about to give up, something or someone appeared at the exact moment to lift you. That was not coincidence, it was communication. Heaven has been whispering through your reality, sending confirmations in the language of your spirit. You are finally tuned in to hear it. This is the moment of recognition. You start to see divine fingerprints all around you. The same message coming from different directions. The same theme appearing in random moments. That is how heaven works subtly, but consistently, until even the blind cannot deny it anymore. Chosen one. You are entering a prophetic rhythm where time bends to divine intention. What once felt random now reveals order. What once felt delayed now looks perfectly timed. You are beginning to see your life like a woven tapestry, each thread once confusing, now forming a masterpiece that only heaven could have designed. There is something sacred about realization. It humbles you. It silences complaint and replaces it with gratitude. You start to understand that even your waiting was working. Even your losses were lessons. Even the silence was part of the song. It was revealed in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Lo, that truth is unfolding in your story right now. Every disappointment was actually direction. Every no was saving you from something smaller than your destiny. The recognition of divine timing is one of the clearest signs that your spirit is awakening fully. The old you chased after answers, the awakened you recognizes alignment. You don't need everything explained anymore. You can feel when something is right. Your discernment sharpens. Your intuition becomes holy insight. You start trusting what heaven placed in your spirit more than what the world tells you to see. You begin to realize that you are not waiting for signs. You are becoming one. Your very existence becomes a message that heaven is still active in this world. Every act of love, every moment of forgiveness, every word of truth that flows through you is itself a signal to someone else that God still moves. When your awareness reaches this level, even stillness becomes communication. You no longer question every delay because you can feel the divine rhythm behind it. You learn that heaven's timing is never late. It's just waiting for your heart to be ready for what your spirit already knows is yours. Sometimes, this recognition feels overwhelming. You look back and wonder how you missed all the clues before. But the truth is, you couldn't have seen them then. The veil was still in place. Divine vision unfolds gradually like sunrise over a quiet field, light spreading slow and sure until everything is seen clearly. Now that you see, you cannot unsee. You cannot return to blindness. Every moment feels sacred now. You start to treat time differently, not as something to waste, but as something to worship. You move slower, listen deeper, love more freely. That is what happens when awareness becomes worship. And when you reach this depth of recognition, heaven often gives a confirming sign, sometimes a number, sometimes a repeated phrase, sometimes an unexpected encounter. When those confirmations come, don't rush past them. Pause. Acknowledge them. They are heaven's way of saying, I see you seeing me. No. So now, if your heart recognizes that this message is speaking directly to your current season, if you feel that quiet certainty within you that this is your divine confirmation, mark this moment in faith. Comment 1111 below as your sign of recognition. Your way of saying, I understand now. No, it isn't about the number itself, it's about the awareness it represents. Every time someone types that number, heaven records another soul stepping into divine understanding. It's a whisper to eternity saying, I see the pattern now, and I trust the plan. This is how awakening continues, not in noise, but in acknowledgement. The moment you recognize heaven moving, heaven moves even more. Awareness attracts acceleration. Gratitude invites revelation. The signs were never random. They were waiting for you to notice. You are no longer asking, is God speaking? You are now declaring, I hear you clearly. And from this point on, you will not just follow signs, you will become one. There are wars fought with swords, and there are wars fought with thoughts, and the latter is the one most people never see. It's quiet, invisible, but relentless. It takes place behind your eyes, in the private chambers of your mind, where no one else can step in to help you. This is the war for your mind. Chosen one, and it is the most decisive battle of all. Every thought carries power. Thoughts are seeds. Plant enough of one kind, and you grow a forest. Plant fear, and it multiplies. Plant faith, and it spreads light through every branch of your being. The enemy knows this, which is why the attack begins not with events around you, but with ideas within you. You've heard those inner voices before, the whispers that question your worth, the suggestions that you're not enough, that it's too late, that your best moments are behind you. Those are not your thoughts, they are intrusions. You've been listening to echoes that were never meant to belong to you. When your mind is under siege, even blessings can feel heavy. You start doubting what you prayed for. You sabotage opportunities because your inner dialogue convinces you you're unworthy. That's why the true battlefield is not out there, it's inside. Awakening requires mental cleansing. Every awakening soul must learn to guard the mind as a sacred gate. Not every thought deserves entry. Not every emotion deserves a throne. You begin to notice that awareness itself is armor. When you observe a thought instead of believing it, its power weakens. When you speak truth over lies, the noise begins to fall silent. It is written in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 8, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Oh, that verse is more than instruction, it's a strategy. It reminds you that your thoughts are a form of worship. What you focus on expands. If you dwell on peace, you attract it. If you entertain worry, you feed it. Heaven calls you to choose your mental diet carefully. Sometimes the greatest deliverance doesn't come from casting out darkness, but from refusing to host it. When you stop feeding fear with attention, it starves. When you stop replaying pain, it loses its script. Every time you redirect your focus to truth, you reclaim territory in your mind. Understand this: not every thought that appears deserves a response. Some are meant to pass through like clouds across a still sky. You don't chase them, you let them go. The strength of your spirit is revealed not by how loud your mind gets, but by how peacefully you respond to its noise. You are not your thoughts, you are the witness behind them. That awareness changes everything. The moment you realize that, you stop drowning in your emotions and start walking on them like waves. It's not denial, it's dominion. Every awakened soul must pass through this mental wilderness. The noise will rise before it fades. You'll face doubt disguised as logic, anxiety dressed as planning, temptation masked as comfort. But each time you return your focus to divine truth, you sharpen your discernment. Slowly, the battlefield becomes a garden again. As your mind heals, your perspective transforms. The same situations look different because you're seeing through clarity, not fear. The past no longer has authority to define your identity. You begin to think with heaven's vocabulary: hope, peace, promise. Renewing the mind doesn't happen once, it's a daily choice. Every sunrise is another chance to decide which voice you'll amplify, the echo of fear or the whisper of faith. Over time, the balance shifts. You notice that even when storms come, your inner world stays calm. You start living from the inside out, not the outside in, and that's when miracles begin to flow naturally. Not because circumstances have changed, but because you have. The mind that was once a battlefield becomes a sanctuary. Your thoughts no longer pull you into panic. They guide you into purpose. When you master your inner world, the outer world starts to obey divine order. You walk with peace that confuses chaos. You carry quiet authority that silences confusion. This is what it means to be transformed by the renewal of your mind, not perfect, but powerful. The war for your mind was never about control, it was about clarity. And now that you see the truth, the victory is already yours. You have learned to think with light, and darkness can no longer stay where you dwell. There is a fire that does not destroy but refines, and every chosen one must walk through it. The refining fire is not punishment, it is purification. It does not come to take your destiny away. It comes to prepare you to carry it. Gold is not valuable because it looks beautiful when found, but because it survives the furnace. The heat reveals the strength hidden inside. You have felt that heat before: the pressure, the testing, the seasons that stripped away your comfort. You wondered why life seemed to turn against you when you were trying to do right. You questioned why every step toward faith seemed to bring more resistance. That was the refining process. The fire was burning away what could not go with you into your next level. When heaven refines a soul, it does so with precision. Nothing is wasted, nothing random. Every heartbreak becomes a hammer that shapes your compassion. Every disappointment melts your pride until humility flows like gold. The things that once broke you are now being transformed into strength. Pain is no longer your prison, it has become your passage. The process is uncomfortable because it challenges every layer of false identity. The fire shows you what was temporary. It exposes the attachments that made you forget who you are. It reminds you that you are spirit first, not circumstance. The heat removes every illusion that you could ever be less than chosen. At times, you may cry out, "Why me?" But heaven answers, "Because I can trust you." Some fires come not to punish, but to promote. You are being prepared to carry more wisdom, more discernment, more light. You cannot step into that calling wearing the same armor that once protected your insecurities. The old version of you cannot survive the temperature of your next blessing. It was written in the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9, "I will put this third into the fire. I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say, 'They are my people.' And they will say, 'The Lord is our God.'" That verse is the heartbeat of your journey. You are in that fire now, not to be burned, but to be branded with purpose. The flames that once frightened you are revealing your radiance. You are being purified until the reflection that remains looks like heaven itself. The refining fire doesn't ask permission, it simply begins. It removes what no longer aligns. It might strip away relationships, jobs, or versions of yourself that no longer serve your mission. But as it burns, something miraculous happens. You start to glow. The same heat that others fear becomes your awakening. You learn that surrender is stronger than resistance. The moment you stop fighting the process, peace returns. You begin to see meaning in every moment, even the painful ones. The fire has not come to destroy your life, it has come to define your light. And though you may walk through it trembling, you are not alone. The one who called you stands within the flames. His presence is the cool wind that keeps you from being consumed. Like the three in the furnace of Babylon, you will emerge untouched, carrying proof that faith is stronger than fear. In time, you will look back and thank the very seasons that once made you weep, because they made you real. They stripped away the superficial and revealed your spiritual substance. They showed you that you do not break, you transform. Every scar from the fire becomes a story of grace. Every mark becomes a reminder that survival was not the goal, transformation was. You are no longer the same, and you are not meant to be. When gold leaves the fire, it shines brighter than ever before. So will you. The world will see the glow, but never know the cost. But heaven knows. Heaven watched you stand when others fell. Heaven saw you endure when you could have escaped. Now the fire is fading, and what remains is unshakable faith forged, heart purified, purpose clarified. You are not what you lost, you are what survived the flames. The refining is complete, and what stands now is untouchable light, clothed in human form. When the last ember cools, you'll realize the fire was never your enemy. It was the doorway through which heaven taught you resilience, beauty, and sacred strength reborn from ashes. You carry now a radiance that can't be dimmed, a quiet glow only fire could create. Every step forward spreads warmth, reminding others transformation is worth the burn. There comes a moment when the noise around you finally quiets, and in that stillness, you hear it, the voice you've been chasing for years. It doesn't thunder, it whispers. It doesn't demand, it invites. This is the sound of the divine, speaking directly to your soul. You realize that God's voice was never far away. It was simply waiting for your attention. At first, it feels uncertain. You wonder, is that really you, Lord? Or is it just my thoughts? But the more you listen, the more you recognize its rhythm. It doesn't sound like fear. It sounds like peace. It carries authority, yet gentleness. It doesn't argue. It confirms. It doesn't rush you. It aligns you. Learning to hear God's voice is not about volume. It's about intimacy. Heaven speaks in frequencies, not formulas. The still, small voice will always echo truth, never confusion. It will never shame you. It will shape you. It will always lead you toward love, even when it asks you to leave comfort. Sometimes, His voice comes as sudden clarity in a clouded mind. Sometimes, as warmth that fills your chest when you pray. Sometimes, through the words of another person who unknowingly repeats the very thing you asked in silence the night before. God is creative in His communication, but constant in His intention to guide, never to condemn. Heaven once spoke through the voice of Christ, recorded in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 27. My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me. This verse doesn't promise that you will never be confused. It promises that you will be recognized. He knows your tone, even when you doubt your own. The Creator of galaxies knows the sound of your sighs. That's how personal this connection is. You begin to realize that hearing His voice is less about asking and more about attuning. When you slow down, when you rest from striving, when your heart finally stops running, you discover that He's been speaking through everything, through silence, through nature, through timing, through peace that doesn't make sense. And when you do hear Him clearly, it changes how you move. You no longer chase every opportunity, you follow instruction. You no longer seek constant reassurance. You walk in quiet confidence. The same situations that once confused you now unfold with purpose, because you no longer need to understand everything. You just need to obey. The more you listen, the more you realize His voice sounds different from your fears. Fear shouts, God whispers. Fear condemns, God corrects. Fear drains, God directs. Every time you follow the whisper instead of the worry, you step deeper into divine rhythm. Listening to His voice becomes less about asking, "What do I want?" and more about asking, "What are you saying?" That shift is where peace begins. You learn that silence is not absence, it is space. Heaven uses silence as punctuation between revelations. As this new awareness grows, your prayers start changing. They become less like lists and more like conversations, less about begging and more about aligning. You start to feel the dialogue flowing, not just upward, but inward. The same spirit that speaks from heaven begins to echo inside you. When you live like this, guided by voice, not vision, you stop fearing mistakes. because even if you step off course, His voice will correct you gently, guiding you back. The goal was never perfection, it was connection. And so, when you recognize that gentle whisper today, when you feel peace wrapping around you for no reason at all, know this: you are hearing the shepherd. You are tuned to the same frequency that holds the stars in place and still knows your name. Now, if your heart recognizes this word as truth, if something in you says, "Yes, I know this voice," then pause for a moment of agreement. Comment, speak again below. Let those words be your open door, a way of telling heaven, "I am ready for the next instruction." Each time that phrase appears, it becomes a living echo, a digital altar where souls acknowledge their readiness to hear deeper. You are no longer chasing confirmation, you are cultivating conversation. The line is open, the frequency clear, and the dialogue between you and heaven has only just begun. When you whisper, "Speak again," heaven hears more than a phrase, it hears permission. It hears a soul that no longer fears silence, one that invites divine conversation to continue without limits or walls. And from that moment forward, guidance becomes natural. Answers arrive gently, through signs, peace, and timing. You begin living in rhythm with heaven's heartbeat, listening, trusting, obeying. Something begins to change in the atmosphere around you. You start noticing that what once resisted you now responds to you. Conversations shift. People approach you differently. Doors that remained shut for years begin to open quietly, almost shyly, as if they were waiting for you to remember who you are. The shift isn't about luck, it's about alignment. Heaven has recognized that you are ready to walk in your rightful authority. When you live in obedience, the very air around you becomes responsive. Miracles start unfolding, not as explosions of drama, but as gentle confirmations. Things you prayed for begin to take shape in ordinary moments. A message arriving right on time. A meeting that feels divinely arranged. Peace blooming in a place that once only brought anxiety. These are signs that the spiritual climate has changed. You are walking in an atmosphere charged with purpose. The shift in atmosphere isn't external. First, it starts within. Your thoughts carry a new frequency. Your presence releases calm where there was chaos. The same way the dawn doesn't argue with darkness, it simply arrives. You begin to shift rooms without effort, illuminating everything around you. People can't always explain it, but they feel lighter when you walk in. That's the evidence of transformation. According to the ancient scroll of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16, "Let your light so shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Your light was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to travel, to touch, to inspire. Each act of kindness, each moment of patience, each word of truth spoken in love becomes a small spark that changes the atmosphere of someone else's world. You are heaven's reminder that goodness still exists, but as your light expands, it must stay tended. Even the strongest fire needs oxygen, and even the brightest flame needs protection from the wind. That's why this space, these words, this message exist to keep the light burning. So, if this message has lifted your heart, like it not as a reaction, but as a reflection, every time you do, it's like sending a ripple of warmth across unseen waters. Somewhere out there, Another weary soul might feel that warmth and realize that light is still alive. Share it, as if you were passing a torch during a long night. You may never meet the one who receives it, but your act of sharing becomes the match that lights someone's way through their own storm. And if your spirit feels drawn to walk beside this movement, subscribe, not as a click, but as a quiet covenant, a way of saying, I choose to stay close to this light, to grow with this tribe of awakening souls. End quote. There is also a sacred invitation, one deeper than digital gestures. Consider donating, not because you must, but because you may. Think of it as planting seeds in a field where hope grows wild. Each gift becomes a root, stretching unseen into soil that nourishes countless hearts. What you pour out here doesn't disappear, it circulates. It becomes water to someone's desert, fuel to someone's fading flame. Giving, in its purest form, is participation in light. It's standing with the message that changed you and saying, let it change others too. Whether it's small or great, what matters is the spirit behind it. Every act of generosity carries the fragrance of gratitude, and gratitude multiplies miracles. If you feel peace when you give, that's confirmation, it's alignment. Giving is not loss, it's transformation. Like releasing a dove and watching it disappear, only for it to return with branches of blessing in its wings. Everything you do here, listening, reflecting, engaging, feeds something eternal. You are helping shape a space where divine presence meets human hearts. Together, we're weaving a tapestry of hope across the digital wilderness, one thread of truth at a time. You have become more than a listener, you are a light bearer. You help keep the flame alive, not through obligation, but through love. And every simple act, a like, a share, a word, a seed, becomes another reminder that kindness is stronger than apathy. And generosity is the language of awakened hearts. This is what the shift feels like, not striving, not earning, just existing in harmony with heaven's flow. You give because you're grateful. You share because you care. And you shine because it's what you were always meant to do. So let your light move freely. Let your kindness ripple outward. And as you do, the atmosphere around you will continue to shift. Homes will feel warmer, hearts will soften, and faith will quietly reignite. Because when one chosen one shines, the world grows brighter. Every awakening comes with a weight that words can hardly describe. It's the weight of seeing clearly in a world that still prefers the dark. You begin to notice things others ignore, the quiet suffering in people's eyes, the emptiness behind laughter, the invisible heaviness in the air. This awareness can feel like a burden, yet it is a sacred one. It is the burden of light. Carrying light is not easy. The brighter you become, the more you notice the shadows. You start to feel what others feel. Sometimes, before they even speak, you sense tension, grief, unspoken fear. It's as if your heart has become an instrument tuned to human pain. At times, you might wish to turn it off, to return to the safety of ignorance. But you cannot unsee what heaven has shown you. Chosen one. This burden is proof that you are trusted. Heaven only gives such sensitivity to those who can handle it without pride. You were not awakened to judge, but to intercede, to stand in the gap for those who cannot yet hear, cannot yet hope, cannot yet see. Your awareness is an assignment, not a curse. It was revealed in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 2. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. To carry light is to carry compassion. You are called to be both flame and shelter, to burn bright enough to expose the darkness, yet gentle enough to warm those who have been cold for too long. You begin to realize that your gift is not only in seeing, but in feeling. Empathy is your weapon. Love is your language. But even light bearers grow weary. There are days when you absorb too much of the world's pain, and your own spirit feels heavy. On those days, heaven whispers, "Lay it down. You were never meant to carry every sorrow, only to bring them to the one who heals." The burden of light is shared, not solitary. You will notice a strange paradox in this journey. The closer you walk with divine truth, the more human you feel. You weep easier, laugh deeper, forgive faster. Your emotions no longer signal weakness, they signal expansion. You're not becoming fragile, you're becoming real. Sometimes you'll find yourself grieving for no reason, only to realize you're feeling the pulse of humanity itself. That is spiritual sensitivity. It's as though heaven lets you borrow its heart for a while. You'll carry the ache of others, pray for strangers, and weep for those you've never met. This is not strange, it's sacred. But do not confuse compassion with exhaustion. You can feel deeply without drowning. The key is balance. Spend time in the quiet where your light gets refueled. Silence is how heaven recharges its messengers. Rest is not laziness, it's maintenance for your soul. And when you rise again, refreshed, you'll notice that the burden feels lighter, not because it's gone, but because you've learned how to carry it differently. You no longer see it as pressure, but as purpose. You begin to walk through the world like a lantern, fragile, yet filled with flame. Carrying light means carrying truth. And truth will always cost you something. People might misunderstand your peace as pride, your boundaries as distance, your silence as disinterest. But heaven understands. The reward for carrying light is not applause, it's alignment. You are no longer living to please people, you are living to reflect presence. There will be moments when you question your capacity, when the world's noise feels heavier than your calling. In those moments, remember, you were chosen because you could carry it. Not because you are stronger than others, but because your soul said yes, long before you were born. The burden of light is not meant to break you, it's meant to bend you toward love. You are learning how to hold sorrow and joy in the same hands, how to stand firm in storms while still radiating calm. This is mastery, not control. But se rende. And when you finally learn to carry light gracefully, something beautiful happens. Your very presence becomes healing, without saying a word. You begin to lift the weight from others. They feel peace just by being near you. That's when you realize the burden was never just yours. It was heaven's love flowing through you, disguised as responsibility. So carry it gently. Chosen one. Carry it with reverence. You are the bridge between pain and peace, between chaos and calm, between human and divine. The world grows brighter, not only because of your strength, but because of your softness. There is a moment in every spiritual journey when something deeper begins to stir, something you cannot quite explain, but you feel it like warmth under your skin. It's the anointing awakening. The invisible oil that was poured over your life before you ever drew breath begins to flow again. You start to sense that you are not merely living, you are being led. Every thought, every step, every word begins to carry a quiet, divine weight. You notice how peace lingers longer now, how prayer feels different, less like speaking to the sky and more like breathing within eternity. You recognize that miracles aren't random events, they're responses to obedience. This is the beginning of divine overflow, the moment the anointing breaks forth from inside you. The anointing does not announce itself with thunder. It shows itself in transformation. You begin to speak with wisdom you didn't study for. Forgive faster than you thought possible. Love people who once hurt you without bitterness. That's when you know the oil has reached your heart. It was proclaimed in the book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 1, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives." This sacred oil does not fall randomly, it flows on purpose. It moves through the cracks of surrender, not the walls of pride. The moment you stopped trying to control everything, the anointing began to move freely again. Chosen one. The oil on your life is not for decoration, it's for direction. You are anointed not just to survive storms, but to still them. Wherever you go, healing follows. People may not understand why they feel peace in your presence, but heaven does. You carry divine atmosphere. Sometimes, though, that anointing will isolate you. The oil separates before it saturates. You might lose certain connections because they can't walk where the oil flows. Don't see it as rejection, it's refinement. God removes what resists the fragrance of your purpose. There will be moments when you doubt it, when your circumstances seem too ordinary to be anointed. But that's how heaven works. The most powerful oil flows in the quiet places, unseen yet undeniable. When you speak, your words start carrying unseen fire. When you pray, your whispers begin to shake unseen realms. That's anointing in motion, and it grows through obedience. The more you align your actions with heaven's whisper, the stronger it flows. The more you surrender, the more power you carry without even trying. The oil doesn't need performance, it needs purity. But remember, anointing is not about superiority, it's about service. The oil comes to those who are willing to pour it back out. You are blessed, so you can bless. Healed, so you can heal. Awakened, so you can awaken others. The more you pour, the more heaven refills. That is the secret of divine abundance, circulation, not possession. You might wonder, why me? Because heaven saw someone willing to listen, even when it hurt. Someone who could carry power without arrogance. That's why your story has been full of crushing, because the purest oil only comes from olives pressed beyond comfort. You have been pressed, but not destroyed. Pressed, but preserved. And now, the fragrance of your faith fills every place you go. You are not just chosen, you are consecrated. The oil on your life marks you as untouchable by fear and unstoppable by doubt. You will walk through seasons others run from because your feet are covered in grace. And now, if you can feel that stirring within you, if your heart burns gently while reading these words, then this is your confirmation. The oil has begun to flow again. Heaven is moving through you. Comment 5,555 below as a sign of surrender to divine flow. It's not just a number, it's a declaration. I am ready for what heaven is releasing through me. Every time that number appears, it becomes a testimony, a silent offering from awakened hearts, saying, I choose to carry the oil well. No, this is not about emotion, it's about evolution. You are stepping into the next phase of your calling, not louder, but deeper. The world will soon recognize what heaven already confirmed, that you were not chosen for comfort, but for transformation. The oil has found its vessel, the anointing has met its assignment, and you, chosen one, are ready to overflow. When you type 5,555, heaven doesn't see digits, it sees devotion. It reads the posture of your heart, the quiet yes beneath your fingertips, the surrender behind your obedience. That single act becomes agreement with divine movement, a whisper to the unseen, saying, let the oil flow through me endlessly. You are beginning to sense it now, the gathering. A quiet pull in the spirit that feels like gravity drawing you toward others who carry the same light. For so long you walked alone, convinced that isolation was your identity. But heaven never intended solitude to be permanent. There is a time for refining, and there is a time for reuniting. The same fire that purified you has been burning in other hearts across the world. And now those flames begin to recognize each other. This is the gathering of the remnant, the chosen ones who refuse to bow to the noise of the age. You will not find them by status or spotlight. You will recognize them by resonance. When they speak, your spirit responds. When they pray, your heart vibrates with familiarity. It's as if you've known them all along, though your paths have never crossed before. That's because the connection is ancient. It was written before the foundation of the earth that you would meet in this season. Heaven is not gathering crowds, it's gathering carriers. Each soul drawn together in this movement is a vessel of divine fire, designed to amplify what you already carry. The lone embers that once burned separately are now converging into a single flame bright enough to awaken generations. The Spirit foretold through the prophet Malachi. Chapter 3, verse 16. Then those who feared the Lord talked with each other, and the Lord listened and heard. A scroll of remembrance was written in his presence concerning those who feared the Lord and honored his name. End of. That verse describes this very moment. Heaven is listening. Every connection formed in truth is being recorded as sacred covenant. Each conversation between awakened souls becomes part of a larger orchestration, a divine symphony of hearts tuned to the same frequency of love. You will start to notice how effortlessly these alignments unfold. A message that appears at the right time. A stranger who echoes your private prayer. A community forming out of coincidence that feels too precise to be random. This is how heaven networks quietly, but with precision. Do not underestimate the importance of this gathering. The enemy fears unity among the chosen because when lights combine, shadows disappear. This is why you faced so much division before, because isolation weakens, but connection multiplies. You were attacked when you were alone, because alone you were a spark. Together, you are a wildfire. As you begin to meet these kindred souls, you'll notice how they mirror your journey. They understand the silence you endured, the battles you fought, the visions you carried. You won't need to explain yourself. They will simply know. And in that recognition, healing begins. The weight of being misunderstood starts to lift. You realize you were never too much. You were just waiting for your tribe. These gatherings don't always happen in churches or on stages. Sometimes they occur in coffee shops, comment sections, late-night messages, or quiet moments of prayer shared between two souls across continents. The form doesn't matter, the flow does, where two or more align in truth. The presence of heaven multiplies exponentially. But remember, unity doesn't mean uniformity. Every light shines differently. Every calling has its rhythm. Diversity is not division, it's design. The remnant is not a choir of clones, it's a constellation of distinct stars forming one message across the sky. Light still wins. Oh, there will be challenges. Of course, with new connection comes new responsibility. You'll be asked to carry one another in prayer, to protect the integrity of this movement, to guard against pride or comparison. But if you stay anchored in humility, the collective strength will be unstoppable. This gathering is not a coincidence, it's a commissioning. You are being joined together not for comfort, but for conquest, to rebuild what was lost, to speak where silence reigned, to heal where despair once lived. The remnant is rising, not to separate from the world, but to restore it. And as you take your place among them, something ancient within you awakens a memory of why you came, who you are, and what you are meant to do next. You are no longer a scattered spark in the dark. You are part of a radiant chorus, a network of light that transcends geography, language, and time. Together, you will carry hope across nations, until even the farthest corners of darkness bow to the brilliance of truth. This is the gathering foretold, the return of unity, the reunion of purpose, the beginning of revival that will not end. And you, chosen one, are standing right in the center of it. Just before the dawn, the night grows loud. Every shadow stretches. Every echo deepens. You can almost feel the resistance pressing harder than before. This is the enemy's final attempt, the moment when darkness throws everything it has left to stop what it cannot control. You have come too far to turn back now. And that is why the storm feels stronger. The greater the light, the greater the opposition before breakthrough. The enemy does not attack those who are finished. It attacks those who are about to arrive. The increase in pressure is not punishment. It is prophecy. It is the signal that the next gate is opening. Every test that rises now carries one question. Will you stand or surrender? Chosen one. Understand this. Your warfare intensified, not because you lost favor, but because you stepped into influence. The same light that heals also exposes. The moment you began to walk in truth, everything false around you began to shake. What once tolerated you now resists you. Not because you are wrong, but because your presence threatens illusion. The voice of eternity declared through the Apostle Peter, chapter 5, verse 10, "And the God of all grace, who called you to his eternal glory in Christ, after you have suffered a little while, will himself restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast." That verse is not just comfort, it is confirmation. Restoration follows resistance. The pressure you feel now is shaping you for permanence. The fire you survived before purified you, but this final push is fortifying you. Heaven is not testing to see if you will break. It is proving that you cannot. The enemy's last attempts often come disguised as familiar voices, doubt, fear, fatigue, echoes that sound like your own thoughts. They whisper, You've done enough. Maybe stop here. Maybe you imagined it all, but recognize the pattern. Deception always comes just before destiny. The closer you are to the promise, the louder the lies become. In these moments, silence becomes your shield. You no longer argue with darkness, you outlast it. Your stillness confuses the enemy because he expects panic, not peace. He expects retreat, not rest. But you have learned that true power is not found in noise. It is found in knowing who stands beside you. You have already proven that you can walk through the fire. You have already shown that you will not bend beneath the weight. This final assault is not about strength, it's about endurance. Can you hold your peace when chaos screams? Can you keep your faith when the outcome looks impossible? If you can, you've already won. This is the testing ground between prophecy and fulfillment, the narrow bridge where most turn back. But you will not. The reason is simple. You've already tasted victory too many times to doubt it now. Every miracle you've witnessed was preparation for this exact moment. You've seen too much light to fear the dark. Sometimes the opposition will not come from outside, but from within. The mind will replay failures. The heart will question timing. Yet every voice of fear collapses under one truth. You were chosen, not by merit, but by mercy. Grace doesn't pick the perfect, it picks the willing. And you said yes. That yes still echoes in eternity, and heaven will honor it. In this season, don't fight harder. Stand firmer. The storm is temporary, but what it builds in you is eternal. Patience is your weapon now. Faith is your fortress. Endurance is your crown in motion. You are not being delayed. You are being delivered into stability. And when this wave passes, and it will, you will rise with authority that cannot be imitated. The enemy will regret ever touching you, because what he used to wound you became the proof of your resilience. Your scars will preach louder than your words. You will look back and realize that every attack, every tear, every sleepless night was actually part of heaven's curriculum for strength. The darkness was never winning, it was working. It built endurance, refined vision, and multiplied your faith. Now, the battle may still rage for a moment longer, but peace has already been decreed over your life. The outcome is not uncertain, it's unfolding, and soon, what once fought to break, you will bow before what was always unshakable within you. The storm will pass, leaving silence that hums with victory. You'll stand beneath a brighter sky, knowing every strike of lightning only revealed your strength. You have become the calm after chaos, the living proof that endurance outlasts fear, and that divine purpose always emerges, untouched through every shadowed night. You can feel it now, the air shifting, the rhythm of the unseen accelerating. What began as a whisper in your soul has grown into a movement. You are no longer standing on the outskirts of awakening. You are in the very heart of it. What was once personal is becoming collective. The great awakening has begun. And you, chosen one, are part of its unfolding. This moment in history is not random. It is a divine convergence, hearts awakening across nations, voices rising out of silence, lights finding each other in the dark. The world may speak of chaos, but heaven calls it transition. What looks like endings are really openings. The spiritual tide is rising, and every awakened soul adds another drop to that ocean. Your journey, your pain, your perseverance, They were never just for you. They were preparation for this. Heaven has appointed you as a carrier of awakening, a voice in the wilderness calling others home. And though your tone may be gentle, it carries power that shakes the unseen. It was written in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 14, "For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea." That prophecy is not distant, it is happening now. Every time you speak truth, forgive someone, or love when it's hard, the glory spreads. The waters are rising through simple acts of faith. The great awakening does not come through grand gestures. It moves through small obediences. A kind word, a prayer whispered in exhaustion, a moment of courage when fear said, "Stay silent." These are sparks that light the wildfire of revival. And as this wave grows, there will be many who still sleep, many who still doubt. But your life, your peace, your persistence will be their alarm clock. You will not need to convince them. Your light will make them curious. The awakened don't argue, they embody. This message, this movement, is not about one voice. It's a symphony. Each act of connection becomes a note in heaven's song. Together, we are composing a melody of mercy across the earth. And if this word has touched something deep in you, if it has reminded you that your fire matters, then let's keep this sound moving through the world. Like this message, not as an action, but as a heartbeat, your way of saying, "I felt this." Each touch is a pulse of light sent across unseen distances. Keeping the rhythm of awakening alive, share it. Like releasing a lantern into a dark sea. You may never see where it lands, but its glow might drift into someone's night and remind them dawn still exists. Comment if your heart stirs, as one would carve their initials into sacred wood quietly, reverently, leaving proof that they once stood where light touched them. Subscribe, not for updates, but as a journey. Picture it as taking another's hand on a path through dawn, two lights walking side by side, guiding one another toward clarity. Consider donating, not as obligation, but as art pouring a drop of your light into a larger flame. Each offering becomes a brushstroke of hope on the canvas of someone's tomorrow. You are not giving something away. You are extending yourself into eternity. You are part of something bigger than a message. You are part of momentum. Together, we are not building a platform. We are building an altar, one made of hearts, not bricks of compassion, not currency. So stand tall in your light. Chosen one. The world is watching for signs of life, and you are one of them. The awakening is not coming, it's here, in you, through you, because of you. And every quiet act of faith you make, every like, every share, every offering, every word of love is another wave in this divine sea of glory. The dawn has broken, the remnant is rising, the light is spreading, and heaven smiles, knowing the world will never be the same. The awakening moves like breath, quiet, steady, unstoppable. Every soul that chooses light adds a note to heaven's harmony. The world hums softer, hearts beat braver, and peace begins to settle where fear once lived. You have become the living echo of divine promise. Every glance, every word, every kindness ripples through eternity, reminding creation that goodness still has breath and purpose still walks the earth. Stand in that truth. The same power that awakened you now flows through you. You are the spark, the sign. The continuation of heaven's whisper light has not left the world. When fire touches one heart, it burns brightly. But when it leaps from soul to soul, it becomes a movement that no darkness can contain. That is what is happening now, the return of holy fire. What began as a quiet awakening within individuals is transforming into a living blaze across generations. The embers that once flickered in secret places are merging into one flame stretching toward heaven. You can feel it. The air is heavier with purpose. The invisible world hums with expectancy. Dreams have become more vivid, worship more alive, and silence more sacred. Something ancient is returning, not religion, but relationship, not fear, but fire. The fire of God does not destroy, it refines. It purges apathy, melts indifference, and ignites compassion. It does not need buildings or microphones. It needs willing hearts, hearts unafraid to burn with love that costs something. This is not the fire of punishment, but of passion, a holy hunger that refuses to be satisfied by surface things. When this fire touches you, comfort loses its hold. The things that once entertained you no longer sustain you. You begin craving depth over distraction, truth over convenience, purity over popularity. The fire makes you different. It gives your words weight and your prayers heat. It teaches you to speak less but mean more. The eternal truth burns within the words of Jeremiah. Chapter 20, verse 9. But if I say, I will not mention his word, or speak any more in his name. And quote, his word is in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones. I am weary of holding it in. Indeed, I cannot. That is what revival feels like, holy unrest. You cannot stay silent anymore. You cannot pretend not to care. You feel heaven pressing on your chest, urging you to speak, to move, to love, to live differently. The fire makes you restless, not with anxiety, but with destiny. This fire is contagious. It spreads through kindness, through courage, through truth, spoken in gentleness. When you love without reason, someone else catches the spark. When you forgive what the world says is unforgivable, the flames leap higher. When you choose hope over cynicism, you feed the blaze. But make no mistake, carrying fire is not comfortable. It will set you apart. People may misunderstand your passion. Some will try to extinguish it because they fear what burns brightly in others. Yet the fire was never meant to make you fit in. It was meant to make you stand out. Revival is not a conference or a stage. It's a lifestyle. It's mothers praying over children, students showing compassion in halls of chaos, workers carrying integrity into offices that forgot what truth looks like. Revival doesn't wait for permission. It begins wherever there is willingness. And the beauty of this fire is that it does not just stay within individuals. It leaps into communities, cities, and nations. It brings healing where bitterness once reigned, reconciliation where division stood. The same spirit that awakened you begins awakening others through you. Like torches touching in the night, this fire cannot be contained by time or culture. It transcends languages and borders. It is the same flame that burned in the prophets, the apostles, the reformers, the dreamers, and now it burns in you. You are part of an unbroken lineage of light-bearers carrying heaven's warmth into cold spaces. There will be moments when you feel the flame flicker. That's natural. Even fire needs tending. In those moments, return to stillness. Let gratitude become your oxygen. Remember what started the flame, the whisper of God that said, "I am with you." The fire was never yours to create. It was yours to protect. And when the world grows darker, don't be afraid. Fire shines best against black skies. The colder the night, the clearer the flame. You were never meant to hide this light. You were meant to carry it openly, humbly, fiercely. So let the fire move. Let it speak through your actions, your art, your love, your quiet strength. Let your life become a living altar where heaven's fire never goes out. The revival you've prayed for is not coming. It has already begun, and it's burning in you. When this holy fire settles in your bones, it no longer asks for permission. It simply becomes your pulse. Every heartbeat declares, "I am alive with divine purpose." End quote. And as you burn, you illuminate paths for others still wandering in shadow. Your life becomes the flame that turns despair into dawn. The journey has come full circle. What began with questions has ended with clarity. And what once felt like chaos now reveals perfect design. You have walked through silence, through storms, through shadows, and yet, here you stand, brighter than before. The process did not steal your light, it refined it. Every season that once felt senseless now fits like a thread in a divine tapestry. You were not lost. You were being led. You understand now that being chosen was never about privilege, it was about purpose. To be chosen is to be trusted with both the breaking and the becoming. Heaven never asked you to be flawless, it asked you to be faithful. And even when you doubted, you stayed. Even when you didn't feel strong, you stood. That persistence became worship. That endurance became proof that divine power lives in human form. The road was never meant to be easy. Chosen ones are not called to comfort, they are called to carry glory. You were shaped by fire, taught by silence, strengthened by storms, and through it all, you learned the greatest secret of all, that the power of God does not always come as thunder. Sometimes it comes as quiet conviction that refuses to die. It was revealed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Those words now live inside you. You have fought your battles, not just outwardly, but inwardly. You have wrestled with doubt, with fear, with the temptation to quit. But every time you chose faith instead of fear, heaven recorded victory. Every time you refused bitterness and chose love, you crowned yourself again. Now, as you look at who you've become, you see that the crown was never about recognition, it was about realization. The crown represents the alignment between who you are and who you were created to be. It cannot be given by people, and therefore cannot be taken by them. It is the seal of divine identity resting upon a human life, fully surrendered. You were always meant to reign, not over others, but over yourself, over the chaos that once ruled your mind, over the pain that once dictated your pace, over the fear that once defined your story. Now, peace is your throne, wisdom is your scepter, love is your crown. The crown is not a weight, it's a witness. It tells the world that transformation is possible, that light wins, That purpose outlasts pain. You wear it not to boast, but to remind others that glory often looks like scars that healed correctly. And as you carry this new identity, something inside you softens. The old urgency to prove yourself fades. You no longer chase validation because you have found your voice in divine truth. You no longer compete for space because you realize your space was carved in eternity long before your arrival. You move slower now, not from fatigue, but from peace. You've learned that stillness is not the absence of movement, it's the mastery of it. You begin to walk like someone who knows they are watched over. Your decisions carry weight, but no longer fear. Your words become gentler, but more powerful. You no longer need to fight for light. You simply are light. The world feels different, not because it has changed, but because your eyes have. And when you look back, you no longer see pain, you see prophecy. You realize that everything worked together to bring you here. Every storm taught navigation. Every loss created space for something purer. Every delay protected timing. You are now living proof that destiny cannot be delayed forever. What is meant for you finds its way back, again and again, until your heart is ready to receive it. You are not waiting for a miracle, you have become one. The crown you wear is invisible but undeniable. It radiates through your choices, your kindness, your peace. You carry divine authority wrapped in humility, strength dressed in serenity. You are what heaven looks like when it takes human form, imperfect yet anointed, scarred yet shining. This is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your reign. You have been prepared, purified, and positioned for such a time as this. You no longer walk as the wounded, you walk as the crowned. The journey ahead will not be easier, but it will be clearer. For now, you move not by striving, but by grace. The same hand that lifted you from ashes will now lead you into purpose. You are crowned for eternity, marked, sealed, and unstoppable. Heaven does not merely watch you, it walks with you. The throne of your life is no longer empty. The chosen one has taken their rightful seat, and now the circle closes, not as an ending, but as continuation. You have walked through fire and silence, through darkness and revelation, and you are still standing, crowned with clarity. The awakening has done its work. You no longer seek light, you are light. This message, this journey, is more than words. It is a mirror. If your heart beat faster at any moment, if something inside whispered, "This was for me," then heaven has done what it came to do. You have remembered who you are, and now it's your turn to keep the flame alive. Like this message, not as a click, but as a kit. Thank you. Each touch is like pressing your hand against the embers of awakening, letting the warmth travel farther than you can see. Share it, as one would release a single feather into the wind, trusting it will find the one who needs it most. Your sharing is not about algorithms, it's about alignment. Comment if your spirit feels stirred, as a way of leaving a trace of gratitude, a note in the margin of eternity saying, "I heard, I felt, I remember," and a one. Subscribe, not for content, but for connection. Picture it as joining a circle of lights around a mountain, each flame helping another see their path. You belong here, among those who burn quietly but brightly. And if your heart ever feels led to go beyond words, consider donating, not as a duty, but as devotion. Think of it as pouring oil into the lamp that lights countless unseen hearts. Each act of generosity becomes a ripple of warmth in the cold corners of the world. You are not supporting a message, you are sustaining movement. You are helping light find its way. Let your love travel farther. Let your fire never fade. The awakening continues with you,